Hey there! Tired of spending forever seeding nursery trays by hand? Meet the Quick Click Drop Seeder. It makes seeding trays super fast. Just a click and you're done. You can seed multiple trays in no time, making your nursery work way easier. Plus, it works with paper pot trays, microgreens, and any other tray that you have. Say goodbye to tedious seeding and hello to more time on the farm. Join hundreds of other farmers and try the Quick Click Seeder today. Available at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.
Oh, if you're in Texas, you don't even need a cat tunnel, like to start with. The people I've helped here, like Alejandro, start March 1st. He started in January because he had a cat tunnel that I sold him when I bought my high tunnel. I sold him one of my low tunnels. But the plan was, before I bought the high tunnel, was start in March, because it's not going to be cold enough. You're going to have a good start. You're going to have good 6 or 7 months before you ever need to worry about season extension in Texas. So start with 3 or 4 beds. I always tell people, start with one more bed than what you think you need. So if you think you need 3 50-foot beds, go ahead and make a 4th one and put a tarp over it, just in case your succession isn't perfectly planned out. You have that extra space. And then I like to cover crop. So you said onions. Let's pretend like it's summer. Let's do summer crops. So we've got a bed of tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes. I would have planted a winter cover crop for those cherry tomatoes, and then I would have tarped it and killed it, which would have given me a really good mulch, because in Texas it's all about heat and keeping the ground cool and water retention and everything. So I would have had one bed with a dead cover crop in it for my tomatoes. Then I'd have another bed spaced out probably 4 weeks, 4 sections for my salad mix, so I can plant once every single week for 4 weeks. And then that other bed would be probably all spring onions, because you could leave those in the ground for a long time without having to harvest those. Does that answer that question? Does that kind of give you an idea?
Yeah, so let's say I know lettuce right now that's coming out. Lettuce, you're maybe on a 100-foot market garden bed. You're maybe around 40 pounds per bed. You could get, if you're just 5 people, let's say they take a pound each. That's 8 weeks of harvest. I don't think you're gonna get 8 weeks out of that one crop. So you could probably get away with a 50-foot bed. I'm just trying to think, let's say you had 50-foot beds, you maybe have 10,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And
10
then
50-foot beds.
yeah. Is that, or you think that's even way too many?
Yeah, for 5 people, yeah, that'd be way too much, because I sell 8-ounce salad bags,
Okay.
and
You're maybe even
that's about
shorter.
8 heads. Yeah,
Yeah. So it could be 25-foot beds or something like that to manage
yeah.
rotation. So not much.
Oh,
Some farms have 50, 100-foot beds or 100-foot beds. We're talking 10, 25-foot beds or something like that. So backyard, this is like advanced homesteading kind of
mm-hmm.
scale for stuff. So that's not super intimidating, I think, for a lot of people. I'm with you. So let's assume I don't think you need a lot of equipment. I always try and talk new people out of just buying stuff. I don't think you need a lot of stuff to start. And you correct me if I'm wrong. I think in the beginning you could get your bed set up however you want. Maybe you rent a tiller or something like that to just get them set up, and then you could
Mm-hmm.
manage that low of number of beds probably by hand, just using
Yep.
basic tools. So you don't need a tiller. You don't need, let's just say you're not going to do any season extension stuff. Let's say you can get away without a tunnel in the beginning. You definitely don't need the paper pot.
You
Maybe
need so you need drip irrigation.
Okay, yeah, you need irrigation for
That
sure. I think you need some sort of refrigeration. You're going to need a wash pad.
Hey, can we touch on that for 1 second, Diego?
All right.
Because I think this will blow your mind. I don't have a wash pack, and I only have an outdoor refrigerator. I have a refrigerator in my garage, and it's the old refrigerator because we bought a new refrigerator, and I just took out all the shelves, because in this model I deliver every day,
Right.
so
So
I
you're
don't have to
harvesting
have
every
like a
day?
yeah. I harvest every morning. I package it. I throw it in the refrigerator, and then that night I deliver it. Now, if it's going to rain or it's going to get real cold, I'll harvest 2 or 3 days ahead of schedule, just in case, because I can't harvest when it's frozen like it was last a couple weeks ago here in Texas. So you don't even need a mass, like one refrigerator for that small scale is
Right.
plenty of packaging. And as far as the wash station goes, I don't wash my lettuce
If you keep it clean,
because
yeah, no need to, right?
because it's underneath a tunnel, so it doesn't get dirty. Everything's on drip. So it's never dirty. And I always tell my customers when they start, I was like, hey, give that a good rinse. It has not been washed. It's not that dirty. And it'll also stay fresher for way longer if I don't wash it. Because if you don't get it completely dry, then it gets slimy. And me not washing it, it never gets slimy. So it stays fresher way longer, in my opinion. As a new farmer, right there, that saves you a ton of money with no wash station and no cool packaging. If you're starting off as small, like we're talking about.
The tunnel might be $2,000. Might be able to get NRCS funding for it. If you can get 4 beds in there and it's 100
Mm-hmm.
feet long, that's 3 30-foot beds times 12 or times 4. So you're 12 30-foot beds. That might be all you need, one tunnel, and you're literally growing all your successions of every crop under there at a small scale. And you
I
definitely
started
want,
with one tunnel. I
okay, yes.
started with 100-foot tunnel is what I started with.
So you need a few just cheap cell trays to start plugs in, your basic DIY prop setup, somewhere to start seedlings,
The
maybe.
best advice I give people on the, sorry to cut you off, but you said prop, and that's the one thing I tell people to spend money on. That's the one thing I tell people because that's the key to your whole farm. If you have crappy germination or you have crappy seedlings or whatever, you're starting behind the 8 ball. So I have a whole list that I email the people that I consult with. Get a Lowe's rack. They're $100, but you can get 6 shelves on that rack. 6 shelves holds four trays to a shelf. So you get 24 trays per shelf for $100. Then I have the LED Behringer lights from Home Depot. I'm not from Home Depot. I'm sorry, Amazon. And I just tell people, yeah, the lights aren't that good. Put a tray underneath them, flip the tray upside down and move them closer to the light. And then as they germinate or whatever, pull the tray out. As they start to grow and get stronger, pull the tray out, and then they're fine. But I don't skimp on seed starting. I buy the good, real heavy duty trays. I've got trays that I've had 7 years now because they haven't broke or anything. So that's the only part that I will tell people. If you're going to spend a lot of money, to start with your proposition area.
Yeah, I think you gotta have the good soil. You definitely want a setup there that's nice. I could push back on the trays, but that's nitpicky on it because I think whatever that could matter, it might not. But anyway, long story short, we're not naming this isn't a list of 50 items at the end of the
No.
day. You're probably, especially if you get a tunnel, that's a few thousand, by far your most expensive thing. You're well under 5,000 for sure. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to price stuff out all in, but you just don't need everything. And obviously, we have a tool company, but there's a scale that makes sense for certain things, and there's a scale that doesn't. And there are way too many tools on the market that I don't want to say that. There's a lot of tools on the market that are very useful in very specific cases that most likely you're not one of those specific cases if you're starting out. So I get it. If
Mm-hmm.
you've done this for a long time, you got to correct one problem and one tool will solve it. Well worth it for you. If that saves you labor, time, headache, hassle, makes a better product, makes it safer, whatever. But for a lot of people starting out, this is basic stuff. And you can probably get a lot of it at Lowe's, which tells you how basic it is that you don't even have to go to some sort of ag supply company for it. So the startup cost part of this is all not big. It's not a non-starter, which
No,
now,
it's something you can save for 6 months. Like if you say
yeah,
in October, hey, I'm going to give this farming thing a shot. I'm going to try to start farming March 1st. Save $100 a month, a couple $100 a month for 6 months, and you've got enough to get you going to start with. And then take that money that you make, that March, April, May, June, July, and then invest in yourself a tunnel for the winter. And then once you have a tunnel, in my opinion, that's what takes you from a backyard gardener to being able to sell year round in most areas. Because you just can't sell anything if you can't keep it dry during the winter. It's not the temperature that the cat tunnels work. It's keeping everything from being frosted over and getting tip burn and all that. Like I am a huge fan of the cat tunnels and the high tunnels.
hello, growers. Want to boost your sales, reach new customers, and streamline your sales process, all from your home office? Ready Farmer One, my book, is your ultimate guide to making it happen. Imagine increasing your farm's revenue without ever spending a Saturday at the farmer's market. The book will show you how to create, design, and market an online farm store. Learn from real farmers sharing real stories about how they move their stores online, freeing up their weekends and increasing their sales. Get my book, Ready Farmer 1, on Amazon and transform your farm business today.